because he's a big supporter of the military and a veteran himself, Congressman Darrell Issa, who's in the thick of things as we try to get a deal together. Congressman, say hello to Major Garrett.
Royce, I'll just assume that you've got makeup on sitting next to Brian and he's not touching you.
He's not touching me, and I don't have any makeup on, Congressman. You know that's one of the reasons I left television, so I could live my days without makeup and hairspray.
Hey, we're just trying to humanize this would-be shutdown. First thing, Congressman, as you get back to work now, after last night I saw you pretty late and you were voting late, has anything changed?
Well, it looks like we're closer and closer to a deal, but it's a deal that's come very late. The president has finally, at least in some way, started participating. As you know, the vice president was given the job, made one meeting, and then left the country. One of the challenges that we're going to face is today we will vote a short-term bill, a long-term funding for our troops, and a short-term extension. And if it does not get accepted by the Senate, we are going for a shutdown, even if we have a deal, because there simply is too much that it takes to put in trillions of dollars accurately into legislation. So one of the things we're going to have to do, and Republicans are united to do it, is to fully fund the military in this next bill, period. Get off the table the men and women that are back home and the men and women who are in combat worrying about the families that wouldn't get funding for their essentials. We want to take that off the table, period, and that's what we're doing today. If the president is not willing to fully fund the military, then he's the worst commander-in-chief in history.
That's going to be a big test because you also told me that Senator Harry Reid's not going to bring that to the floor.
No, the Senate isn't going to take that up, and the White House doesn't want to support it. So there is an impasse there. Congressman, let me ask you this.
But Major,
the number that
Major, whose impasse is it if they refuse to fund our men and women in harm's way?
Well, I'll let you and everyone else on the Senate and House floor debate that out, and the American people take their measure of that debate. The White House has told me they don't want to give up the leverage that they believe that all of the funding mechanisms, particularly those for the Defense Department, put into this entire deal. And the question I have for you is, Speaker Boehner on Wednesday said $40 billion. Is that a number that you think, if it were applied to this CR for the remainder of this year in cuts, would be acceptable to a majority or a near majority of the House Republican Conference?
Major, the answer is Republicans have repeatedly demonstrated that we will vote for and pass bills in the House. If there is a complete answer to H.R. 1, and it is something that's been negotiated with Speaker Boehner, we have full confidence in the Speaker and his team, and we will carry virtually all the votes. But let's understand, the Senate refuses to let Senate Republicans have a vote. So it's, this is a filibuster in reverse. This is the majority refusing to allow a vote, claiming, protecting themselves by saying you can't get to 60 votes. Well, of course we can't get to 60 votes. We don't even have a majority. If this came to a vote, Reid would not be able to control Democrats who care enough about the military to, in fact, make sure we don't leave these men and women in harm's way financially, in addition to the bullets flying around them.
Now, do you think, logistically, in reality, if they were closer to a deal last night, and Major, do you agree the symbolism of them coming out together after their meeting meant more than just, meant they were kind of coming closer when you saw the Speaker and the Majority Leader come out together?
Yes. When you haven't seen them before and you see them now, that suggests the differences are narrowing, and they're preparing visually to let the country know that they're trying to get to a deal and are closer than they thought they were a day or two before.
And
right.
Major, I agree with you that we're closer. The real question is, what about next year? We're funding 98 cents on the dollar of what the president wanted, far more than he inherited when he came into office. And next year, we're going to have to make real cuts, and these cuts are going to be trillions of dollars over the next few years. That's probably where the American people need to focus on, is if this was hard, how are we going to do the hard part?
And do you feel as though, Congressman Issa, that you have to you have to finish the right way in order to finish the 2012 budget the right way? That if you acquiesce now just to get this done, that you have no shot of getting what looks like Ryan's plan through?
Well, I'll answer your question by rephrasing it slightly. As you know, I'm old enough that I'm sandwiched between the original Tea Party and the new Tea Party, probably closer to the one at our founding. I believe that this is all about a change in direction. If we show a change in direction to the American people, including a willingness by Democrats to realize it's time to start scaling back this growth of government, then I think we're fine. And that's a big part of what Republicans are trying to do, is stand on principle. The principle does not have a number. The principle has a direction, and that's what Speaker Boehner was sent to negotiate, is a principled solution that shows that the last election has a real change in the direction of our government.
Now, let me ask you this, Congressman Issa, because this is a practical question that everyone in the House may have to confront in the next 24 to 48 hours. If tonight or sometime today there is a deal, do you believe the House is positioned and would be willing to accept and pass a short-term CR for the purposes of giving everyone time simply to put the deal in legislative language, to avert a shutdown, and move the process forward for 3, 4, 5, whatever days are required, just to simply get the legislation together and get it passed?
Absolutely, Major. And today we will pass a bill that can be the base to do that. If there's a deal and the deal is understood, the Senate can quickly mark up what we're sending to them today, which is this short-term CR with a full funding of the military. And they can use that as a tool, or they can use H.R. 1, which we sent over nearly 50 days ago. So, no, the House is prepared to do that. Those people who wouldn't vote for the last extension were because they didn't see the kind of principle change, and they wanted to make what I think was an appropriate statement, which was, folks, we've got to get into negotiations or we shouldn't be doing it. We're now in negotiations. If they appear to be fruitful, the dedicated men and women, and quite frankly, I hope on both sides of the aisle, understand that you've got to pass something short in order to get to the facts of a long one with accuracy.